Hello again, my name's John. I'm a retired cook from the northeast of England in the UK, and welcome to another great pie video. And in this one I'll show you how to make this stunning family-sized cheese, onion and potato pie recipe. Served with chips and beans, this was a huge favourite with our customers. It's a very simple but absolutely delicious pie recipe I'm sure you'll all enjoy. You can see the ingredients list and full written method for this recipe on the recipe page on the channel's website, and the link to that page and lots more is in the description box under the video. Just find and click on the word more, and that'll give you access to all the relative links for this video, including our website store products. Okay, let's get straight into this fantastic pie recipe. I'll start by getting the potatoes on to boil. Make sure you use a variety of potato that's good for mashing. Morris Piper is a good choice if you're in the UK. Just do a little research for good mashers where you live. Once peeled, cut them into medium-sized pieces like these. Now get them into a suitable sized pan that's not going to boil over. And believe me, I've seen it happen many times, including professional chefs. Give them a good wash in cold water. Add just enough water to cover them. Don't add any salt at this stage. Now get them onto the heat. Once they start to boil, set your timer for 20 minutes. Okay, while the potatoes are boiling, I'll make the pastry. For this recipe, I'll be making short crust pastry. By far, the best way to make short crust pastry is to use a food processor. It's very quick and easy, but more importantly, it keeps all the ingredients cold, which is essential when making short crust pastry. But if you want to make it by hand, you can see how it's done in my chicken and mushroom pie recipe. I'll leave a link in the description box below. First to go into the machine is the plain or all-purpose flour. Next is the salt. For this recipe I'm using all butter. This will give the pastry a fantastic rich flavour and flaky texture. But you can use half butter and half lard if you prefer. Pulse the machine until you have a fine breadcrumb consistency. This should take around 30 to 45 seconds. Once again, if you don't have a machine or you just want to give it a go by hand, check out my creamy chicken and mushroom pie recipe for the instructions on how to do it. Next step, set the machine running while you slowly pour in the ice cold water. Once the pastry comes together and starts rolling around the machine like this, it's done. Once again, this should only take about 30 to 45 seconds. And how easy was that? Now get all of the pastry out of the machine, including the bits. And if your measurements were correct at the start, you should have around 560 grams, that's around 20 ounces. So you need to divide it into two pieces. 300 grams or 11 ounces for the base of the pie, and the 260 grams or 9 ounces that's left will be for the top of the pie. Wrap them both in cling film and get them into the fridge for at least 30 minutes before using it. Now you can make this well in advance, even the day before. Once the time's up on the potatoes, they should be soft and easily pierced with a fork. And a very quick mention to the channel's Patreon members and supporters. I'll be giving the latest list a shout out a little later in the video. Now thoroughly drain them so every drop of water is out of the pot. Place the hot pan on a tea towel and without any butter, give them a good mashing until there are no lumps left and the potato is nice and fluffy. Don't be tempted to add butter because it will make this filling very sloppy. Once you're happy with it, transfer the hot potatoes into a large enough bowl to mix the filling in. Try to use a glass or plastic bowl, and I'll explain why in a moment. First job is to season the filling with salt and traditionally plenty of ground white pepper. Next to go in is the finely chopped spring or green onions. You can use ordinary white onions if you wish, but these have a milder flavour. Now roughly mix that together. Time to add the grated cheese. Now I'm using 200 grams of red Leicester cheese and 100 grams of strong mature cheddar cheese. You can use all cheddar if you wish, but if you can get it, red Leicester is strong enough and gives this filling a great orangey colour. Now thoroughly mix that in until the cheese is completely blended in with the hot potatoes. And the reason for using a glass or plastic bowl, if the cheese has reduced the temperature of the potatoes and it isn't mixing very well, get it into the microwave for 30 seconds and you'll find it'll blend in much easier. And that's it. You should now have a silky smooth, shiny mixture. Now cover the bowl, another great use for your shower cap, and let it completely cool. While that's cooling, I'll prepare the pastry. For rolling the pastry out, I'll be using our adjustable stainless steel rolling pin. Now these are also available on the website. These amazing rolling pins take all of the guesswork out of rolling your pastry out to the correct thickness. And for this one I'll be using the pastry spacer, which is the 1/8 or 3mm spacer. And this is our new 9-inch or 23cm pie and flan tin that I'll be using for this recipe. And if you're interested, these are now available in the shop too. And I just greased this one with a little butter. Start by dusting the bench with flour. Get the larger of the two pastry discs onto the floured bench and dust it with flour too. Now roll the pastry out into a large circle as shown. Roll it backwards and forwards in straight lines and turn the pastry 90 degrees at a time. This should keep it reasonably round. If you have got one of these pins, keep rolling until the guides hit the bench. Then you should have the perfect size and the perfect thickness for this recipe. Remember, the pastry has to be bigger than the tin that you're using. Once your pastry is big enough, dust it and roll it onto the pin. Now carefully line it up and unroll it onto the tin. Now gently manipulate the pastry into the tin. Use a spare piece of pastry to push it right down into the corners where the sides meet the base. Once the pastry's in and you're happy with it, you can set it aside while you roll out the top pastry for the pie. Keep dusting the bench and the pastry as you go. When you're happy with it, roll that onto the pin too, then have a clean up. Time to put this wonderful pie together. First job is to make the egg wash. Crack a large egg into a container, add a dash of milk and whisk vigorously until it runs off the whisk as a loose liquid. And if you can't use or just don't like eggs, you can simply milk wash your pastry instead. Grab a fork and prick a few holes in the base of the pastry as shown. This is called docking the pastry. It's to prevent the pastry from bubbling up when baking. Right, get your now cold filling into the case. Once it's all in, level it off. Okay, get your egg wash and brush it all around the lip of the pastry. Now unroll the lid of the pastry over the filling. Gently press down the edges with the palm of your hands. Now using your forefingers and thumbs, crimp all the way around the edge of the pie as shown. Once that's done, carefully trim the excess pastry off like so. Once you have it trimmed, crimp around the pie edges again to tidy it all up. Before going any further, preheat your oven to 170 degrees Celsius, that's 340 Fahrenheit or gas mark 3. Before egg washing, cut a few vent holes in the middle of the pie. Now give the whole thing a good coat of the egg wash. At this point you can call it done, but I like to add a few embellishments or decorations using any spare pastry that's left. So I'm adding 8 of these diamond shapes. It just gives the pie a more pleasing and professional look. It's also quite practical as it helps equally portion the pie when serving. And get those egg washed too. And there you go, a beautiful looking pie ready to cook. Now get it into the preheated oven and set your timer for 45 minutes. And while that's baking, I hope you don't mind if I give my 4 recipe books a quick shout out. The books have lots of our favourite recipes from our work kitchens in them. And also book 4 in this series is totally dedicated to bread recipes. The skeleton style oven gloves, now supporting our company name, are also available too. Just check out the link in the description box to our website store if you're interested in any of these items. Okay, time's up on this amazing pie. And the aroma this thing is kicking out is mouth-watering. And it's looking tremendous. A fantastic golden brown colour, and it looks so appetising. Can't do anything with it at the minute, it's far too hot. I let it relax on the wire rack for 10 minutes before I get it out of the tin. Time to get it out of the tin. Just use a bowl to allow the rim to fall off. And it's still too hot to handle, I'll have to get the gloves back on. And I leave mine on its non-stick metal insert, it's easy to serve from. Right, I'll cut a slice off and see how we did. And for all you beginners out there, this is a great and very easy pie recipe for you to try. And it looks amazing, and the aroma of the cheese and onion is tremendous. This is comfort food at its very best. And here I go, straight in for a bite of this wonderful heartwarming pie. And that is so delicious. Served hot or cold, this is a fantastic, cheap and very easy recipe, guys, worthy of a massive thumbs up. And as mentioned earlier in the video, here is the latest list of my Patreon, PayPal and Super Thank You button supporters. And they are Laney Lou 6235, Daryl Elder 1352, Lavinia Rawlinson, Jens K3250, Joseph Schultz 6726, Kaylee Strange, Ian Black and CC666. Thanks very much, guys, I really do appreciate all that you do in supporting the channel. Well, thank you again for watching. Please like, share, comment and subscribe by hitting the circle above. If you do subscribe, activate the bell icon next to the subscribe button on my channel page. And by doing that, you'll be automatically notified every time I upload a new video. And in the meantime, here's a few of my other videos and playlists that you may want to watch. So, until the next time, be safe in your kitchen and bye for now.